ride, teach, inspire. This is the Dropping Next podcast, brought to you by the Canadian Association of Snowboard Instructors. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dropping Next podcast. I'm Rob Whalen, and I'm joined here by our usual cast of characters, Jen Piloteau and Jeff Chandler. And we are about to set sail on episode number 4, and we have a really cool episode lined up today. We're going to be talking about the Interski Congress that will be happening next season in Vail. Before we jump into it, I just wanted to send a big thank you to everybody who's been listening so far. It's been really cool getting feedback online and just randomly out on the hill. It's really cool, really rewarding. It feels like we're doing something cool here. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for snowboarding. We're also joined by Jamie Forbes today. I'm going to read out a little intro I prepared about Jamie for those of you who don't know him. He's a member of our national technical team, level 4 Park 2 evaluator, based in BC, out of Powder King Resort. But as far as I can tell, spends most of his winter traveling to different resorts in the West, giving CASI courses all over the place, occasionally showing up in the East. Jamie also spends a lot of time in China, facilitating and giving CASI courses through one of our international course providers, Snow Sports Unlimited. And in this episode, like I said, we're going to be digging into some interski topics, and we thought it would be cool to have Jamie on board as part of this conversation because he is a returning Interski team member. So Jamie, welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
I didn't know the answer to this, so we're going to start off with how many Interskis? 2, 3? Where are you at?
This will be my second.
Second. Okay, yeah. Where was the first one you had attended?
The first one was 2019 in Bulgaria.
Okay, nice. Jen and Jeff, same question. How many Interskis now?
Well, I'll keep Jeff for the end because he's going to be the cherry on the sundae with the numbers. But I have done one Interski, and this would be my second. The first one was in Finland in 2023.
Cool. Jeff, what do you got for numbers?
Sorry, I'm just doing some calculations here. Carry the 4 over to
I told you.
Boss.
No, I've been really lucky to be at a handful of them. I think this will be the 6th one. So in 2007, I went to South Korea. We had a small team there, myself and recent Hall of Fame inductee Trevor Gavura went there, along with our previous and founding executive director, Dan Ginch. And then in 2011 was Austria, St. Anton. And 2015 was Argentina. And then joined Jamie in 2019 in Bulgaria. And then Finland was the last one in 2023. Vail 27 will be, 6, I guess. Yeah, I've been super, super lucky to be able to be a part of all of those events. So really appreciate it.
Nice. That's cool. That's an impressive list. So we've got some listeners and viewers here who probably don't know what Interski is at all, or maybe has some idea about it. And so this being our first in probably what will be like a series of podcasts about Interski, among other social media coverage we'll do about it. Like, I guess, Road to Interski, we'll call it. So this episode, I think we'll dig into more what it is and just some kind of broad topics about Interski, and then as we approach the event at the end of next season, we'll kind of dig into some more specifics. But I guess for starters, Jeff, you want to build some context around even like what is Interski?
Yeah, for sure. It's so as you can probably tell by the schedule, it happens every 4 years, and really what it is it's an international gathering of snow sports instructors. So sometimes people refer to it as like the Olympics of snow sports instruction. I always say, like, in spite of the name Interski, it's a sports teaching event, Congress they call it, and really it's just a time for all of the countries that are associated with the ISIA, the International Ski Instructors Association, to come together and exchange ideas on teaching techniques, teaching methodologies, demonstrate techniques, like technical demos. There's a whole lot of networking that goes on as well. comparisons, talking about how each country handles current challenges, that type of thing. And then there's a big part of it is around indoor workshops and indoor presentations. Countries generally try to send their kind of leading ambassadors. The whole idea is to exchange information and put on a little bit of a show about how each country approaches their different disciplines, whether it's ski, snowboard, telemark, Nordic, adaptive. So it's a big deal in the instruction world for sure.
Jamie, so as a returning member, you're one of those people that Jeff was just talking about. So I wondered if you wanted to build a little bit on kind of your perspective on the context of Interski.
Basically, I never realized I'd have to work so hard. When we got there, it was amazing to see the different countries, and basically we nerded out for essentially a week. Watching, listening to all the different organizations and countries, highlighting their methodology and their riding technique. And honestly, I think what I got from it was just, I like what we do. And you get some different ideas about what works in different conditions, what doesn't, and why people do what they do. And I think what I really got from it was we do a lot that is really customer focused, and it shows in our presentations.
For me personally, it's an outside perspective as a member watching all of this unfold. So it's cool to kind of pull back the curtain and hear your opinions from experience. So Jen, I know we've talked about this already a little bit, but I always feel like when I ask the same question again, we get different answers and a little bit more fill in the blanks. So do you want to dig into like the why do we go to Interski?
Well, we're celebrating the joy of teaching with everybody else in the world. And we're sharing our best practices, but we're also taking a lot on to encourage this growing passion and the purpose we all come in as instructor when we're first starting. And I think like it's kind of a dream of an instructor to go to Interski, to be able to compare, put to the test as an association, put to the test your product, get some feedback from you get a lot of feedback from your membership when you're teaching in your own realm of association, but that's something else to put it out to the test to the world and get the feedback of other memberships as well. How is that perceived? So we're building some sessions that are showcasing that allows us to put it to the test. Sorry, I ramble a little bit.
Yeah,
there, but
no, that's really cool.
Yeah,
I
bring me on track. Well.
I like that concept of us getting feedback. It's what we do when we're on snow for our candidates, our students on snow. Feedback is, a huge part of our learning cycle. And I think it's a cool thing for CASI to want to have that experience, be on the opposite end of that. And, because it just shows how committed we are to wanting to improve and to grow our product. So that's really cool. As you were talking there, I was thinking maybe one of you wants to talk about what it's like to be giving feedback to other countries.
Go for it, Jeff.
Before Jamie.
Don't all speak at once.
I'll be honest, at first I was pretty nerve-wracking because I struggled with imposter syndrome for sure. But then when you get into it and realize why you're there, it's actually really cool. The buy-in's awesome, and people nodding along and listening to why you do what you do and where you see it going within your country. I like teaching snowboarding, that is. It's really awesome.
I think for me, one of the big thing is to also act as a bit as a journalist from our membership perspective. In our roles representing CASI over there, you want to bring back information. Yet you're putting your product to the test, but you're also comparing and contrasting. And trying to understand how the other system works and what could be the pros and cons, but also like having those deep discussion on how they are seeing and presenting and talking about snowboarding. Like that is very valuable for us to bring back and to our own product and have this debriefed reflection with this lens on.
Yeah, I think that's the key, is that, there's an element of sort of going there and demonstrating our content and our technique, but really, like, historically over the years that we've been going to Interski, I think we've really taken the attitude that we're there to learn from the other countries. And one of the things that stands out with me is on the snowboard side in particular. Like, back in 2007 when I went, and I can only imagine in the the mid 90s when some of our other team members went, when snowboarding was an even smaller part of Interski, it was even more pronounced. But early in the days there, countries showed up and everyone was sort of approaching snowboarding in a different way. And, St. Anton being the 2011 and St. Anton being right smack in the middle of Europe, and a lot of, it created a situation where a lot of smaller associations and instructor bodies could show up and kind of showcase. There was some wacky stuff going on in the snowboard world there. But one thing that's happened is it's become much more kind of standardized. And so we're at the point where everyone's kind of chasing similar outcomes now on the snowboard. And I'm sure it's been that way for many years on the ski side. So, I think the big thing is, when it comes to that pressure of presenting in front of the world, it's definitely there because you want to show you want to showcase CASI in a good light. But we've been really fortunate on the snowboard side where there's a definite community there, and there's a lot of support, even from people you've never met before. And like Jen said, we're all sort of there for the same reason, which is the love of snowboarding and teaching. And it's really just an exchange. It's not so much about the demonstrations and the showcasing. It's more about the exchange and the discussions and keeping that stuff really positive. But as Jamie said, the first time you're standing there with, in front of a group of, 12 or 15 people from 6 or 8 different countries, there's some pressure for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That concept of how we are different countries starting to have aligned outcomes is pretty interesting. I've not heard someone say that before, and just strikes me as, maybe this is thanks to Interski for creating this community and like forum for sharing.
Definitely. Yeah, I think it's partly due to that. I mean, we definitely live in a world now where it's way easier to see what other countries are doing. You just go on Instagram. I mean, if I look at my Instagram feed, I've got, NZ videos and BASI videos and all sorts of different teaching associations. So that has really changed as well. But yeah, I would say for sure it's part of the kind of the evolution of the sport. And as we collectively, as we figure stuff out technique wise, we all sort of land. I always sort of joke we're all kind of chasing the same outcomes on the snowboard now. We're just using our own words and our own terminology and our own description of what's happening and what we think is the most important. But when you sort of look at, the demonstrations is a really interesting one where you watch everybody ride, with the exception of a couple outliers. We're all really trying to recreate very similar technical outcomes.
We are, I think, about halfway through the, at least what I've got prepared as a skeleton outline. We'll see where things go. So it's time for our palate cleanser of the episode. And I've got a few fun questions here. I hope they're fun. Just to mix things up a little bit here, and you can all answer or just jump in any order. I tried to make them Interski specific-ish. So best non-snowboard demos at Interski.
Green trot.
You might have to elaborate on that.
I can elaborate for embracing the entire atmosphere in Bulgaria and making friends everywhere he went.
I could say for me, it's the dance floor on the last big evening. That's a pretty big demonstration of lots of cultural exchanges and, like dancing with different people, lots of good connections happening on the dance floor.
This is not the answers I was expecting.
Well, were you referring to the indoor presentation?
No,
I mean, the indoor presentation,
there's
a lot
Choose
of
your own
it.
adventure. I was kind of interested to see if you wanted to see more of the tele demos or the whatever else is going on.
Well, the tele demos have been really that's been really impressive over the years. I can remember one year where I think it was Switzerland. There was a park demo, and it was really cool because Switzerland made a point of ensuring that every discipline was represented in the park demo, even the tele guys hitting the big jumps. So that was really cool. So to see snowboard, ski, Nordic tele, I think there was even Nordic cross country skiers hitting the jumps in that particular one. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. But the other one that stands out for me is one year, I don't remember the country. There was a kind of a snow bike. Was that when you were there, Jamie?
Yeah,
was
I think that was Bulgaria.
And I just remember looking at this guy sitting at the top of the demo, this really icy demo slope at night, sitting on this snow bike and getting ready to drop in and just thinking like, man, I'm glad that's not me.
and he dropped, he dropped.
Well, yeah, he went for it. He did actually. Yeah. But it was impressive for sure. Yeah.
Well, all of the other sports demos to watch from the scene at the bottom there, like whether it's snowboarding, but all of the other disciplines, that's for sure. I remember it's a big show. Like it's really impressive.
Okay, next question, and you stole it from me a little bit, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Win the party or the technical demos?
Well, I think you can do both. I think every nation should do both. Like if you do both, like everybody's going to come with high energy. And I think that's actually what's already happening.
There you go. That's how to interski, win both.
Win both, yeah. Yeah.
All right, last question, not interski related, although maybe it could be. Favorite CASI merch of all time? I'm wearing mine right now. I got the camo CASI hoodie.
I really like the new hat.
Oh, just going with a new one. Nice.
And I was going to say, I like Jeff is wearing sometimes a little fleece, not a fleece jacket, like rain jacket, very light. This one looks really good.
The windbreaker.
A windbreaker.
I think that's the 25th one or 25th. Yeah.
What you got, Jamie?
I'm going to have to go old school with the big long beanie with the reservoir tip, the toque there. That was pretty dope.
That was the first one.
Yeah, it was really good quality. And
on the Interski tie-in, like the merch and the uniform thing is really big at Interski, and so there's always a big wrap-up party on the last night of the week, and one of the big parts of that is trading merch and uniform items with other countries, and so some of us take it a little more serious. I think Adam Gardner showed up with a little mobile shop that he had dragged all the way to Bulgaria, and he had set himself up in a corner of the room where the party was there to get some trading. But we had one year we had a black arson jacket that had kind of almost like a camo maple leaf print on it, and it was a pretty hot item for people to get their hands on. I think I actually traded mine away, which I totally regret now, because whatever I got for it, I definitely don't wear anymore. But it was an item that people really were interested in, for sure.
Maybe we need to bring it back. Retro items.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Rob Stevens still has one. I've seen him wear it recently, I think, actually. So he was smart and hung on to it.
Sweet. That concept of trading stuff is pretty cool. As a kid playing hockey, we used to wear these like corduroy hats where the like hat like comes down to the brim, kind of old man style. And every hockey tournament, you'd be trading your team pin, so it's got like all these pins on it. I still have it.
Yeah, the pin thing is big at Interski as well. A lot of countries show up with pins, and you spend the week riding around with a handful of pins in your pocket and giving them out to local kids or other team members or other nations. It's pretty cool.
Nice. Okay, palette is officially cleansed. We've reset. We've got a few more questions here. Let's jump back into Interski. Let's talk about the value to our members for us going to Interski as a team.
Well, I think Jen kind of got into it already with, bringing back and learning. But, in general, I think from an association perspective, there's a lot of value there in well, as Jen said, putting our product to the test and knowing kind of where we stand on the world stage and making sure that we are staying relevant when we look at other systems and other countries. And I think for me anyway, that's where I see kind of the biggest value, is that we can be sure that we're on par with where other countries are going in the snowboard world. And I think our members can be can trust in that as well, that when we make these decisions on course changes or evaluation methods or whatever it is, or even membership-based stuff, that it's been, compared not just internally, but also externally as well. And I think that's a big value add for CASI members.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to do some hitchhiking on this comment, to inspire or research and development, it's a really good way to challenge that, right? As you can see here, I have a pen of the AASI when I went to observe some of their event. Well, if you're listening, you wouldn't see it, but I hold in my hand a pen of the ASI, and those exchanges that we've created over some diverse collaboration are really helpful to, sometimes I'll just call my colleagues at the ASI just to ask what they think about this project, or what have they heard about that in the industry, what's going on. So those connections are also really precious in terms of how we evolve in our own product and programs.
Yeah, so like to inspire the best snowboard instruction in the world, you have to see snowboard instruction in the world and research and develop
What's going on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so that's
exactly.
so our members can feel certain that what the information that they're receiving is not just some decision that was made willy-nilly. So we're going to Interski to show them what we've got, our very best. And I think, we've talked about it a little bit, but the idea of community over competition, I get a real sense that is like almost more what Interski is about.
Well, I would say that that's one of the stark differences between disciplines as well. And on the snowboard side, I kind of mentioned already, but there's definitely a big focus on community. And it's funny because Interski itself, it's not a competition. I had I had a funny interaction at one of the Interskis on an elevator with someone from someone who will remain nameless, from one of the ski delegations, and we were just sort of like chatting back and forth on the elevator, and he said, "Hey, how's it going? How's your week been?" And I said, "Oh yeah, really good. How's yours been?" "Well, I think it's been really good. I think we're going to take this thing." And I was like, it was very confusing because it's not a competition. And so I'm not even sure how you would determine who a winner is, but that's definitely a feel on the snowboard side, is it's much more about community. And I mean, it's even evolved over the years where the technical demos, I mean, let's face it, a steep, icy, water injected World Cup slalom pitch is not the best canvas to showcase probably the best snowboarding that we can do. And I think most of the countries have sort of landed on that. And while it's important to participate, we've always said it's really important to participate in the demos because we're part of a Canadian delegation. For us, it's more about the exchange, the community exchange. Jamie, I don't know if you felt that. I mean, there's definitely some pressure when you're standing at the top of the demo slope. There's a competitive sort of pressure, but
yeah, your heart's pumping a little bit, especially when there's a big crowd at the bottom.
The music's going, and yeah.
There was music.
Yeah. That was just your heart pumping in your head.
I think it's a heart pumping, but it's definitely some sort of EDM going.
Yeah,
at the bottom, and it's. For me personally, I found the demos that we were performing felt a lot better when I was presenting than when I was stood at the top of a sheet ice injected demo slope, and it's your turn, you're on display. So while it's a really good thing and it does put you on the spot, you can't hide when you're doing that. The non-performance based stuff I find really showcases what we do.
Related to this, when you're standing at the top of the demo slope, there's some demo per delegation, so you collaborate with the other discipline of your country, and that's also like a pretty good feeling to be there with all of the discipline and just like dropping in as a bunch of red for Canada, for example. But when you're all there with the other countries as well, because there's some run where we all go together, there's also a really cool feeling. And you're waiting there your turn, so you see the other team and how they interact, and then it's just the overall vibe. It's super fun. So I don't think it has nothing to do about we joke about the winning, but I don't think everybody's gaining and waning and growing when they're going there.
Yeah, that's important, I think, to highlight, especially because Canada's in a unique situation where we're there from a community aspect. We're really one of the only countries, or maybe the only country, who are there under the Team Canada banner, but multiple associations. And so, we're there essentially at the invite of the CSIA, the Canadian Ski Instructors Alliance, and it's as well as the other associations that go, whether it's CADS or CANSI. But it's just reflective of the community that is in place within our country, within Canada, and most other nations. All the disciplines are kind of housed under one association umbrella, but Canada's always been really unique that way. And I think we do a good job, better recently, and looking ahead to next year, I think we'll do an even better job of kind of unifying, like Jen said, and having a unified kind of sea of red there. All working together, whether we're on no matter what we're standing on and what association we're representing. Ultimately, when we're there at the Interski event, we're representing the country. So that's a big community piece.
Such lots of good points there. It just kind of gives me shivers to think about that whole aspect of togetherness up there on the slope. Of course, there's no trophy. We know that. Well, maybe some don't know that. There's no winning Interski, but we are a bunch of athletes, right? Like we're competitive by nature, and we want to go out there and look the best. But your kind of point there about the pride that you carry with you and representing your sport and your country. That's what it's all about. That's really cool. Jamie, you touched on something in your last little segment there about the non-performance aspect. I wasn't planning this one, so I'm going to catch you off guard here. But maybe we've been talking about the demos and showing our best turns or whatever. But maybe a quick example of what you mean by the non-performance aspect in the presentations.
Honestly, I think every one of our members has experienced this kind of trying to perform, because you do it whenever you hit an exam or a course. But when you take that pressure off, you ride way more naturally. You deliver the information way more naturally. And I think it gives a better indication of actually what we do.
Okay, so we're sort of rounding out the questions here. I've got one more. Maybe it's a bit of a doozy, I don't know. But Jen, or maybe you don't want to let the cat out of the bag just yet. But how is planning going? So we've had the team assembled for the better part of a season at this point, and there's been some training happening as a team. How's all that going?
Well, it's going pretty good. No, we're. I mean, as I was listening to the last couple comments there, makes me think of that Interski is because we have a date with the team. We have a targeted goal as a team, so that gives you a bit of a lineup into the preparation, and that just by itself it plans some of the training. It gives a strong theme to work on with the technical team. So we've already been doing some brainstorming about some of the sessions we want to present over there. This is under the theme of All In. That's like the general theme of Interski. So inspire, include, and innovate. So we've already been doing some of the preparation on like what type of sessions we would like to present, and we've been like testing some ideas out. We'll put some more to the test in the spring when we have our next Interski training, along with the other sister organizations as well, CANSI and CSIA, that will be there. So yeah, we're just discussing it basically at dedicated time and space for the tech, and this is gonna like just increase on the road to Interski.
You're doing on snow training a couple times a year, and then you're probably meeting on Zoom fairly regularly.
Yeah, every month.
Once a month, okay, cool. So there, lots of work going into it. We've got, I don't know how many more months, but it's a little over a year still. So that's lots of conversations to have and ideas, time to develop ideas. I imagine it's probably going to fly by though.
Yeah, it will. I think like the big goal for us this fall was to plant the seed in the mind of our tech members, just so they can think about the ideas, let them grow, put some ideas they have or concept to the test through the season as well. And then when we'll regroup again, we'll do some more focused planning, right? It's just going to funnel down until it's precise to exactly what we want. But there's also the training for the demo slope. Even if we say it's not a competition, we still want to look really good and over there. So that gives us some, we have some ideas for the team to be trained and fit when we go there. So, and I think everybody's on the team already on that level. But so, yeah, that gives us a bit of a target, individual and as a team. So it's super fun to plan for an event like that with a team. It definitely itself, it's a team building activity.
Awesome. We're all excited to see these ideas come to life. This is great. Well, that's about it, I think, for the episode, unless anybody has anything any parting words for our first episode of Road to Interski.
No, I think we covered kind of the general bits of it. It'd be cool to dig into some of the specifics as we get closer.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Jamie, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Super nice to have another voice and another input on the conversation. And for those listening and viewing, please hop on, give us a rating, give us a review. That's what's helping us develop the show and building something pretty cool over here. We have an email address, podcast@casi-acms.com. If you have anything you want to share with us, any suggestions as we grow here, would be happy to hear from you. And lastly, subscribe. Hit that subscribe so that you see when our episodes come out every 2 weeks is the plan. And
Thanks,
we don't
Rob.
have a cool sign off. I think that's the feedback we're going to get.